Welcome to ABZ.
This is Muriel.
And Dickie Richards signing in. And later, Baron Von Bacon with the New York to Paris race.
April 27th. Summer Olympic Games started in London, Britain. There were 22 nations that entered. 1,971 men and 37 women.
This was meant to be held in the Italian city of Naples. The city was destroyed by Mount Vesuvius erupting. The Olympic Committee moved the location to London.
The White City Stadium was built in a very short time and could hold 68,000 people. Some people call this a technological marvel. This field was made so the runners ran 3 laps instead of 4. A diving station and lap pool were built in the middle of the track. Along with the pool, there were platforms used for wrestling and gymnastics.
The main concern was the American shot putter Ralph Rose refusing to dip the American flag in front of the royal box. The U.S. came in second with 23 gold medals, 12 silver medals, and 12 bronze medals for a total of 47 medals. The closing ceremony was this October 31st.
In this segment, we're going to cover the creation of the new and popular Take Me Out to the Ball Game song.
This song was inspired by an older baseball song. Actually, the first baseball song ever written, called the Baseball Polka. It was written in 1858.
The words were written by Jack Norworth and set to music by Albert von Tisler. The song was written, set to music, and published in the same year, this year, 1908. The company that published it was the York Music Company.
This song was written on a scrap piece of paper while Jack Norworth was on a train going to Manhattan.
And for those of you who have not heard this popular baseball song, here it is just for you.
Take me out to the ball game, sung by Edward Meeker, Edison Record. Katie was baseball mad, had the fever and had it bad. Just to root for the hometown through every stew. Katie Blue. On a Saturday, her young beau called to see if she'd like to go to see a show, but Miss Kate said no. I'll tell you what you can do. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Katie saw all the games, knew the players by their first names, told the umpire he was wrong all along, good and strong. When the score was just 2-2, Katie knew what to do, just to cheer up the boys she knew. She made the gang sing this song. Take me out to the ball game, take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Hello out there, welcome to ABC, where we have got the final coverage on this dramatic conclusion of the New York to Paris race. This race started at 11 o'clock a.m., February 12th, in New York City, actually in Times Square, where thousands of fans gathered to see these men brave and challenge nature across the United States, all the way over across the Pacific, across Asia, through Europe, and ending up, now, in Paris, France, today, July 30th, at 8 o'clock.
This event was sponsored by New York Times and Paris newspaper La Matin.
There were 6 cars that entered this race. The American Thomas Flyer, who was driven by Montague Roberts and Mr. Shuttler. The French Didion, the French Motorblock, and the French César Nauduin. Also, the Italian Zus and the German Protos.
There were 13 cars that were supposed to show up in this race, but 7 of them did not show up.
No one quite knows why these cars did not show, whether it was due to mechanical failure or just the ability of not being able to arrive in New York City.
The first to reach San Francisco was the Thomas Flyer at 41 days, 8 hours, and 15 minutes.
That's pretty fast to drive one of these new automobiles across our country, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, actually, as along with that, the Thomas Flyer actually won the race in Paris, France, at 8 o'clock tonight, right now, on July 30th. It left 169 days ago.
The German Protoss was the first to reach Paris, but he was penalized 30 days for being shipped by train to Seattle.
Yeah, I heard it broke down in Utah.
Yes.
Yes. Well, that is our coverage today for the New York to Paris race. The dramatic ending, the conclusion that we have all been hoping. America has proven victorious in the race of automobiles.
Coca-Cola. Good to the last drop.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Tonight we have a very special guest for you. This man created the Ford Motor Company and invented the famous Model T. I would like for you to welcome Mr. Henry Ford.
Thank you, Muriel. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Mr. Ford, would you mind if I asked you a few questions for the viewing audience?
Of course.
Well, great. Our first question for you is this. What is your background? I mean, what is the story behind Henry Ford and the Ford Motor Company?
Great question. Let me think about the answer real quick, so I have everything right. Okay, here it is. I was born on July 30th in 1863 in Greenville Township near Detroit, Michigan, actually. So I worked in several different jobs before I created the Ford Motor Company. And the Ford Motor Company was founded in June 16th, actually, 1903. So we just actually released our new car, the Ford Model T, on this October 1st. But I'm not much of a hero. There's not much of a hero's tale behind me. I'm just an average man who worked hard for what he has now.
Very interesting, Mr. Ford. Thank you. Now our second question is this. What makes this Ford Model T so amazing?
Oh, great question. Here it is. Here's the truth. The reason this car is so amazing is that it's designed and made for the average man. If you can save up, say, $850 of your annual revenue, you can actually buy one of these cars from us. The reason this car is so inexpensive for you, the consumer, is that it is actually made on my patented assembly line, bringing the parts to the makers, putting it all together faster, saving time and money, thus saving time for everybody out there who wants to buy a Ford Model T.
Well, what inspired you to work in the automotive business?
Well, Muriel, I got a watch from my father when I was a child, and I learned how to take it apart and put it back together again, and how all the pieces and all the gears work together to make the clock work, make the watch tell time. And so from this interest, I became an engineer, and thus made the Ford Motor Company.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ford. It was a pleasure to have you on our show tonight. I cannot wait to see what else you and your company are bound to come up with.
Anytime, Muriel. I had a great time talking to you. If you ever need a car, call me up, okay?
4 days ago, a group called the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, was formed, founded by Attorney General Charles D. Bonaparte, who felt a group of Secret Service men were needed.
He says that the FBI is a threat-based organization, national security group. Its main goal is to protect the U.S. against terrorist attacks. It's the main investigation arm for the U.S. Department of Justice.
This is led by a director, who is Examiner Stanley W. Finch. Well, I'm Dick Richards.
And I'm Muriel.
Signing off!